Welcome to
Separate Bathrooms and other handy marriage tips. I'm Ali Daddo.
And I'm Cam Daddo. How are you? Hi, honey.
Oh, hi.
Got my cup of tea, thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Allison made me a cup of tea.
Oh, it's the best. You got to have a cup of tea while you're recording, don't you?
Yes. Well,
Tea. Bring the tea in the toilet.
Right, that too.
Actually, I never do that. I never bring food into the toilet. Is that more of a
Guilty.
guy? I was going to say, is that more of a guy thing to do?
Well, I don't know. Is there... I mean, germs get in the air though, don't they? But I know that I have taken a Vegemite biscuit in there every now and again.
Yeah, I just can't stand anything in there.
I haven't done it for many, many years. I've got to say that. But I know
Yeah.
as a younger man, I probably used to, kill two birds with one stone, so to speak.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Speaking of the differences between men and women.
Who's standing up, sitting down?
That's right. We came across, as you know, we love to find articles that we thought our listeners might find some interesting things, and we find interesting things and we can have a bit of a chat about it. So the latest one to come across our way is called The Top 6 Things Women Want from Men. Now, this article is actually written by a man.
So this is a good episode for you fellas.
Yeah.
Actually, you might get something out of this.
Yeah, exactly. And I would want to know if women agree with this, because this is advice from over 200 women has helped fuel this article.
Yeah, so the guy's gone and put it out on his socials, posed a question on his socials, hasn't he? That's what he said.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I thought you meant the article came from his socials.
No. He's put an article out from his socials and posed a question to heterosexual women, he said. And over 200 women responded, and he's collated those responses and come up with these 6 things as to what women want.
To put it simply.
I feel like I'm going to be like Mel Gibson in that movie today. You know that movie, What Women Want?
Oh, and you have to read my mind?
Oh, God. No, yeah, how inappropriate he was at the beginning.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
It starts off with how he thinks, or he believes, that men have their work cut out for them now more than ever. And women are literally crying for men to get there together. With added pressure from the powerful Me Too movement and the ever-present label of toxic masculinity. What do you think about that? Do you feel it's now is more the time than ever that men have to get their crap together?
I do.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay, let's
you
move
do
on.
too? No. Can I elaborate a little bit, honey?
Are you actually asking my permission?
Well, you said, come on, let's move on. No, I do. I think that men, we are a product of our parental environment and our grandparents, and yet what's happened technologically over the advancements that have been made over the past 50 years have really flattened the world, and word spreads fast. And I think now more than ever, men's behaviour is certainly under the microscope. And it should be, because we have had our way and pushed our way around for thousands of years, and it's not right. So things do need to change. The issue for men, I think, though, today is it's happening so quickly. A lot of guys don't know what to do. Women are literally crying for men to get their SH1T together, and I think it's a ship that's, it's a big ship that's going to take a little bit of turning around, quite a bit of turning around.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because I was sitting with a friend of mine and we were sort of talking about the Me Too movement, and she actually said, I feel really sorry for guys right now. I feel sorry for men. I feel like they're being, held up and drawn and quartered, and which is not my opinion.
I was going to say, do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that. The cases that are coming across, media-wise, clearly those cases are ones, the Harvey Weinstein and etc. These are men that need to go to jail, and I think that like somewhat like you were saying, what was once acceptable and men spent years of doing this behavior, and now women are finally having a voice, even though they may have said no before, because the power of combined women's voices are now so much louder. And as you say, they're being watched more. They're finally going, oh, it's not okay if I just, do the little pat on the bum as the woman walks by, on her way to the bathroom in my office. It's not, I've always done it, but why can't I do it now?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look. It's as I said before, it is a generational thing, and as you said that, I thought of my dad. And now my dad I think is one of the most respectful gentlemen
Agreed.
I've ever come across. He's polite.
Yeah.
He's kind and respectful. Now he turned to me. It was ages ago because I haven't seen him in ages. Bloody COVID. And he said, I can't put my arm. Or I can't put my hand on a woman's lower back to usher her through a door. That's not mum. He said, that's inappropriate. He goes, I've always done that. It's just been the gentlemanly thing to do is to, if someone goes through the door, it's a woman, you show them, open the door for them and show them through, and you might put your hand on their back to support them or in some show of support. Now, that's his upbringing. And,
yeah, it's an interesting one because
he's done it to you.
Yeah, but he's my father-in-law and that's totally fine. A stranger doing that to me, I would not like that.
I don't know that he would do it to a stranger.
Oh, well
But he's sort of saying, I think, no, he's talking about in a work environment or, some colleague of his.
Would he do it to a work colleague who is a male though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of women talk about this, like that men, as they pass them by, in a tight space, or that they feel that they have to put their hand on their waist just to sort of, I'm moving by you. There's a lot of that, of just boundary crossing that is really inappropriate.
Well, that's absolutely inappropriate, and that happens a lot in bars and things like that.
Yeah, but your dad putting his hand on my lower back as he through the door, of course.
I've seen him do it to his friends. I've seen him do it to his lady friends. But anyway, my point is that it's a generational thing, and nowadays, could be seen as inappropriate touching.
Could be, yeah.
And a woman would have a case for it. And my dad's just going, wow, it's just how quickly things have changed.
Yeah,
and that's in his lifetime, and so we men have to be open to this change, and understand.
It's important. It's really important.
Well, it's not actually. We have to be open to it. We've got to abide by it.
It's understanding how women have felt for so many years. I showed you that another article, but I showed you that article the other day where it had like what the question was, what do you do to prepare to go out at night, or do you ever think about being attacked or something at night, or something like that? And when they asked the guy was like, I never think about it. When on the woman's list, the woman had about 30 things
of her concerns.
Yeah. Where you carry your keys, where you can't walk in a wooded area, you can't have your earphones on if you're walking on your own, you can't walk down that alleyway, car park garages are not okay, you have to check your back seat when you get into the car. Like, it is constant. And it's inbuilt in us that is out, we are on alert. And I'm not on alert for a woman attacking me. I'm on alert for a man attacking me. So that's just an inbuilt thing, which is really, it's just there. And that will take some undoing for a lot of people to feel, a lot of women to feel that they don't have to have that mindset.
Yeah. It's time that women felt safe. Now, according to the article, it's pretty simple what women want. He's boiled it down to 6 different things. The first one is they want our willingness. I'm willing.
Yeah.
Now, he says, this was by far the loudest response women had for us men. And the responses varied from person to person. The summary was the word willingness. Many women just wrote the word willingness and followed that up with phrases like willingness to grow and face yourself, willingness to fight me. Now, we did a podcast on fighting fair, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a good one. There's some good information in that. Not our information.
No.
But, and a willingness to listen deeply to me.
Oh, so important. Yes.
Willingness to open your heart and be emotionally available.
Love it.
Willingness to share your own vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Willingness to repair after we are disconnected. Mm-hmm. Well, you want to do that if you want to stay together.
Yeah.
Willingness to own your part.
So good.
Yeah. What else do you pull from there?
Willingness to ask for help and hire a therapist or coach.
Now, see, that flies right in the face of the male thing. We don't ask for help.
Yeah.
We don't ask for directions.
Yeah. But you do.
Generally.
You do. There was, when I was going through the deepest part of challenge with menopause, you came to me and said, I think we need to go see someone, a counsellor. And I was like, yeah, we do. That was really good.
To fix your problem. I just blew that, didn't I?
You had a compliment in your hand.
I'm
now I
kidding.
have snatched it back.
Well, I did ask for that because I didn't understand what to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to know the best way to support you.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And willingness and initiative to be vulnerable with someone other than just me. So, yeah. So this one woman talks about how my partner's wonderful, but I don't want the entirety of his don't want to be the entirety of his emotional support system. So, yeah, I like that. I like that when, if you can go to other people to be vulnerable and ask for help as well. I think that's really important. I think that shows courage and it shows, a willingness to be open.
Yeah. And I can see why a lot of guys don't want to do that though too. They don't want to open up to someone else. They've chosen you not you personally, but they've chosen their partner. And that's the person that when they're doing the wedding vows is, you will be the one that I disclose or share my fears and things to. And then to open up, I mean, especially in this country, therapy's got quite a stigma. I think unfairly, because it's really important. That's what we do with the men's team.
Yeah.
Is we share our problems or share our lives with other men, and then you realise you're not alone. That's
Absolutely.
great. It's a great help. So you're right, to be willing and emotionally available is an important thing.
Well, I know for me, when you might be struggling with something and we've had a chat about it and it still might be a struggle for you, and you'll go and have one of your men's team meeting and you'll come back and you'll be like, I feel so good. I feel so refreshed. I feel so much better. So that I know that works for you.
Yeah.
Being able to speak, sometimes I'm not the person.
Well, yes. Well, I've sort of said is not everything. I don't want to burden you with stuff, a lot of stuff. Some things you need to be the one, but there are other ones I want to check in first. Maybe I'll come back to you, but to check in with the guys on my team.
Yeah.
And go, can you guys relate to this?
Yeah.
And then if someone says, yeah, I can, and this is what I do, and it's like, oh God, even just having that feeling of someone else understanding.
Absolutely.
And they're going through it too. You go, okay, all right.
Yeah.
What do you do? All right, well, maybe I'll try that.
I think women do that a lot more naturally than guys, I find. I think women are much more, like I'll talk about things sometimes just in the staff lunchroom that women are just like, oh yeah, I have that too. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, that immediate connection, which is just so, connecting over the same issue that we're struggling with. And it's such a relief.
Yeah. I mean, this is where we men can learn from women about the way you share and how you share, because we often don't. share like that. Men,
Yeah.
well, you get to it after a few beers maybe.
Yeah.
But if you're out playing footy or golf or whatever it is, surfing and stuff, it's pretty. The conversation generally, for the most part, is pretty light, and particularly on the golf course is a great place, but we're not professionals, and one's hitting left and one's hitting right, so you start the conversation and then it finishes pretty quick.
Yeah, it's only kind of
Because you
snatches of
separate.
conversation, isn't it? It's like little snatches because you've got to sort of eventually go hit your ball and get in the golf buggy or walk or
Yeah, and it just and most blokes are just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about that sort of stuff.
And I think all of these, that we're about to go through goes without saying that I think it's really important that women do all this as well. To be open, to be willing, all of those apply to have a healthy relationship. I need to be doing that as well.
Yeah.
I can't be asking that of you if I'm not doing it myself.
Yeah.
And this is a similar one. Number 2 is I want you to be emotionally available, open and vulnerable. There's that word again, the vulnerable word.
Yeah.
Because women get tired of doing the emotional labor for men. Women are holding so much in the modern era. Professional careers, mothering, and a tremendous willingness to feel. And most women grew up being emotional sponges in their environment and felt for the whole family. And while it's their responsibility to change that, we men, as he says, can help when we also do some feeling. Becoming emotionally intelligent is huge in a partnership.
As long as it's supported.
What do you mean?
Well, if it's supported, I'm going to bring up something that Brené Brown wrote in her book, Daring Greatly, where she talks about, well, I'll talk about it a bit later, but as long as it's supported, that if the man, when he is emotionally available, that it's like, oh, I want to hear this, or that he feels like he's not going to be chastised.
Oh, if he's opened up into a very sensitive, that would be awful.
Yeah.
It'd be awful for anyone, man or woman, but especially if it's a guy that's taken that plunge into opening his heart and the woman goes, or the partner, whoever goes, ugh, it's not very manly.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Be a guy.
Yeah. So, look, I think that there's steps to be taken on both sides, more so on the man's side. There are expectations of that stiff upper lip. I've played, say golf, but I've played golf with some ladies, and they're pretty tough. They're pretty tough women, and it's like they don't want to hear any kind of, well, no one wants to hear any whiny behaviour, but get on with it. Come on, and yeah.
But they're saying get on with it, hit your shot. They're not saying get on with it because you're being open and emotional and in tears. That's a very different scenario. I know you like to compare everything to golf.
After the game, when you're having a coffee and you'll come back after the round and you're sitting there and you're having a little tear over what happened on the 16th, that it ruined your round, and they're like, snap out of it, bucko, come on. I've been on the end of it.
Golf.
Well, it's a great analogy for life.
You do connect it a lot to your life. I know that.
Yeah, I do. Because, yes, it's all about breathing and it's all about movement. It's all about targeting and practicing.
Number 3, I want your presents. Give me presents, lots and lots of presents. No.
Presence. But you do like do you like presents, or would you prefer presents as in what we're talking about here, presence, or presents, ents? A little bit of
any
both.
day of the week, any time of the night, any time, I would much prefer to have you present with me. Put your phone down. Don't talk to me with it in your hand and looking at it, or with the TV on and golf on. I never get a conversation when golf is on. Absolutely. Anytime. You come in and give me a lovely present. That's wonderful. It's lovely. Though, again, my favorite thing you can give to me is your full 100% utter self, concentration, ears, everything, heart, as I'm to be together. My favorite gift.
Yeah, there's a quote here from, I guess, one of the people that wrote to this guy. Physical, emotional, sexual presence, emotional awareness, awareness of their own shadows, childhood wounds, and ability to see where they are coming into play, articulate and transparent communication skills. I mean, this is not your average guy is going to understand his shadows and his childhood wounds.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Not to say that's not something to work for, to work towards, to get to understand that, because that's what makes us better people, is to understand these places that we hide and the childhood wounds that create our behavior as adults, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are incredibly important things. I think men, we all need to understand.
Because it says it, if a man or a girl, boy, girl, grew up disassociating away on either video games or books, or in a family where human connection and eye contact were not a thing, then presence can be a bit of a mystery in an adult. Like, it's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so this is what I mean in terms of the generational thing.
Right, yeah.
Because I know that my grandfather was a very different father to my dad than my dad was to me, and I know I'm doing that with our kids.
Yeah, sure.
So, and there are guys who are more present than me, and there are guys who are less present than me. We're all where we're at.
Yeah.
I guess the point is, what you're making is, you've put your phone down, and what you're asking for is, I want you to be present with me and to listen and acknowledge and see me and feel what it is where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah, put your golf club down.
I think it's important that in that moment, though, how about this, that if you come in and you're upset and I'm actually in the middle of regripping my golf club or cleaning it, and I say to you, baby, I see where you're at. I need to I want to finish I'm finishing the task. I think your emotional health is much more important than my golf club. I will say that. But just for this example,
I don't like that example.
No, okay. I'm just saying, well, maybe it's just an example of, all right, what I'm doing right now, it's really important to me, and I'm going to finish it, or I'm going to get it to a place where I'm happy to leave it so I can give my full attention to you.
Yeah. I guess it depends on the scenario.
Correct.
Because if you came in and I was reading a book and I'm at this super juicy part, and you came in and you were in tears and upset and something was going on, I would immediately put my book down.
Well, yes, I think I would put my golf club down if I was.
But that's not what you said. You said if you came in really upset about something.
Okay, I mean, we're splitting hairs right now in terms of course, if you come in and you're really upset, if you want to show me, if you're coming in to say, hey, honey, can I show you these new wicker chairs that I would like to get?
Exactly.
And I'll go, baby, I am right in the middle of this. It's really important to me. I want to see your wicker chairs. I'm not even going to butt it either. I want to see your wicker chairs. I want to see what's important to you. I'm just going to get this to a place where I can leave it and give you my full attention.
Agreed.
Give you a wicker.
Agreed. I'm high-fiving you on that, on the wicker chairs. Okay. Right. The importance of the conversation.
Yes.
Okay. And I want your honesty. Oh, look, we're ahead of the game. Look at that. I want your honesty, number 4.
Yeah.
And while it makes sense, it might also imply that many women have been burned by us men, again, I'm saying this from the article, to the point that they are asked to value honesty as something that sadly is not given in modern romance.
Well, I wonder why he says not given in modern romance. Is that because there's ghosting and all that sort of business that happens in modern romance? It's people being dumped by texts and emails, or just not even? I
don't know. That's a good question, because surely husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends and boyfriends and boyfriends and girlfriends and girlfriends lied to each other back in the 50s and back in the 1800s. And
have another drink. Right.
So yeah, that's an interesting one.
Let's give him a call, shall we?
Let's find out.
Well,
okay. Who are we getting onto that? We're getting...
Crystal.
We'll get our secretary.
Karen.
Karen. I thought we fired her.
We did, but she's back.
She's back.
Yeah, yeah.
Number 5, you want to do that one?
Yeah, I want to feel safe with you.
Yeah.
That's the emotional and physical safety is a must if an intimate partnership is to be a place of fulfillment and nourishment. He writes, so without safety, both parties remain on guard and less likely to open their hearts, which is true.
Yes.
Shelley wrote, emotional safety, reliability, and super hot sex. I guess they're all related to each other.
Well,
In
according
some
to
way,
Shelley,
shape, or form.
it is for her.
Let's give Shelley a ring.
Shelley. Safety should be a bedrock of any good partnership. I agree with that. A partnership is very much like a home. That's beautiful. It's a safe harbor and it's a launching pad. A partnership is that place you go when life kicks your ass, and it's that place you leap from when you feel supported, like your partner has your back. Okay. That's really beautiful.
It is. And that kind of relates back to that idea of you are my most treasured confidant.
Sure.
Right? And so now if you're saying, as you said before, I like it when you go somewhere else to reflect or to, get some support from other people. Though a lot of men only have one person and that's their partner. Who they choose. So
sometimes not even that.
And I think in this time at the moment, it's not even that.
And they need it.
Yeah. So I guess the important thing is to feel that, have that place, find a place where you're feeling emotionally safe to open up and be vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vulnerability's okay. I'm looking at you.
It's so good. I love vulnerability. Number 6.
Why?
Why do I love vulnerability?
Yeah.
Because so much comes from it. So much goodness comes from vulnerability, I feel like. Well, again, different scenario. If you get smashed when you are being vulnerable, then that's not good. Though I know for me, when I open up and I expose myself in a vulnerable way, I always feel so much more connected to what I was attempting to hide and what I was, sort of the coat that I've been holding close around myself. I've let that drop and I sort of stand there going, okay, this is me. This is how I feel. And I'm going to share that with you right now. And it's never really gone badly. It's always been received well, and I've always felt better from being vulnerable. And I love it when people are vulnerable with me. You can really tell when someone does that. I hold that very sacred, very dear to me. If someone opens up into a very, very tender place for them.
Yeah, and back to that other one, it's when someone does that, to give them that moment of safety as well.
And all your attention.
Yeah, there you go. Number 6, I want you to be self-aware.
Well, isn't that kind of all of that, in a way, what we've just said, do you think?
Yeah.
All of that is self-awareness.
Building off number 1 above, women were very outspoken that they want us men to be aware of our own issues, our emotions, and our challenges. They want us to be asking hard questions about our own lives, fulfillment, and path. They want us to have our own dreams and goals that inspire us. It's it's fair enough.
Yeah.
Again, this is where we've come to. We're asking men to really be more, to think a little deeper.
Yeah.
Now, and not sort of numb life away and just turn up for work and, finish work, come home, have dinner, play with the kids for half an hour and then watch telly. Wake up, do it again.
And I think that comes a bit with maturity, thinking about the hard questions about our own life, fulfillment and path. Like, I don't know, were you thinking that way when you were 21, 22, 25?
No, I wasn't. It was, where's Where's the next surf spot? You know, what
Yeah.
work am I doing? You know,
Yeah, what's happening on the weekend? It's kind of that's as far as I thought about. Like I didn't really.
yeah,
I mean, I thought, yeah. I mean, once I was married to you, I knew there was kids in my future. But yeah, they are big questions for anyone. Life path, fulfillment. They're great questions.
well, they're great questions in relation to relationships.
Yeah.
And as you say, you know, as we get older, we become more aware of that and our behavior, and also the consequences of our behavior.
Yeah.
When we're not being kind, when we're not being vulnerable, those sort of things. I mentioned before that Brené Brown, we've talked about her book Daring Greatly, and there's a part in it where she talks about her research with men and shame and vulnerability. She wrote that a painful pattern emerged. We ask men to be vulnerable, we beg them to let us in, and we plead with them to tell us when they're afraid. But the truth is, most women can't stomach it. In those moments when real vulnerability happens in men, most of us, being women, recoil with fear, and that fear manifests as everything from disappointment to disgust. And men are very smart. They know the risks. They see the look in our eyes when we are thinking, come on, pull it together, man up, you know, and they back away from it. And that's what Brené Brown had to say about it.
It's interesting. She's a shame and vulnerability researcher and has studied that for many years. So clearly she's got the stats on it.
Yeah, because the last thing we want to do as men is we don't want to piss you off. We want to get along with you. And so if that's the case, what she's talking about, when we get vulnerable and that's going to reflect badly on us or not help us to be intimate with you or be close to you, then we'll pretend.
Pretend what?
Pretend that everything's okay, that we're not upset, that we're not, and so we avoid our feelings. So with that, I mean, there's clearly so much more to discuss with this. We are at a time. What do you get from this? What's the last thing that you...
Well, I was just thinking that I feel, you know, I just feel for anyone, man or woman, in any position that, again, opens themselves when their partner is going, oh, I want you to be open with me. You can tell me anything. Tell me your fears, you know, tell me your concerns. And you finally let that guard down and you say it, and then they go, ugh. Oh, well, get over it then. That's whatever. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's a really painful place.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. It's the Meatloaf song.
It is.
Yeah?
It is. You're going to do that? You're going to do a cover version of that?
Yes, honey, I will.
Yes.
Maybe the next episode. I'll
Let's
work it
do
up.
that.
Give me a week to do it.
Okay, I love it.
Because I just had that thought about, but I won't do that. I'll do anything for you, but I won't do that. And you know, there's conditions on in that moment of how much we will allow ourselves to have.
That takes me back to childhood as well, because kids are all about being open and vulnerable. That's who they are, you know. But if you sort of shut a kid down enough, they're not going to come to you with what they're worried about or what they're hurt about. They'll just know. They'll just go somewhere. Actually, they probably won't even go somewhere else. If they've had it from their mum or their dad, they'll just go, I'll just deal with it myself, or I'll compartmentalize it. You know, I think there's a lot to be said from how we encourage that in our kids.
Right. So if an adult man has been treated like that as a kid and he hasn't figured that out and sorted that out into his adult life, he's going to carry that into his relationships too.
Yeah. Because he survived it. He survived his childhood that way. Yet it's going to be his undoing in his adulthood to keep all that locked. Like it's not a healthy thing.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. So a takeaway is just maybe just be willing. I guess that's back to number one.
Yeah, number one, willingness
Be
to
willing.
be open and take that little leap of faith that your partner will catch you when you open yourself up.
Yeah.
Because I do think it's what we as a partner also does want, to have your partner open with you.
Well, I think that's a great place to press pause. Till next week.
Thanks so much for listening. We are on Facebook at Separate Bathrooms and Other Handy Marriage Hints. Let us know what you think about all of that discussion.
It's a big topic, isn't it?
It is a big topic.
Yeah. You can follow me on @Cameron Daddo for Instagram. Ali's at
Ali Daddo.
And you post all sorts of great stuff on yours.
I just post what I like, really. That's what I do.
Yeah. You can also follow me on the men's team, my men's team as well. Our daughter Lotus has now taken over that Instagram account.
Yeah, she's smart. She's got some great stuff. But if you've got a guy that, in your life that might need a little assistance, look up my men's team, because I'm not just plugging this, or look up anywhere that can support your guy to open up and have a bit of a chat. I know it's been a tough time for a lot of people this year, so it's good to get talking.
Good call. All right, till next time.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.